Hi, I'm Sherry and this is Gardening in the North. And today we're pruning, or what some of you may call topping, my pepper plants. So before I tell you some of the benefits of topping or pruning your pepper plants, why don't I show you what happens when you do? So here is an example of a tam jalapeno pepper plant. And I just want to show you right inside there. You can see where I've made the cut. These two here that are growing out are growing because I cut the top of this plant off. These little ones here and here are growing in because I cut the top off. So let's take a look at another one. Look at how bushy this one is. And so just to show you on the inside, if I can move, let me see here. It's really hard, but it's like right in there. You can see where I've cut it. Look at all the new growth on this plant. Okay. This one as well. You can see all of the nice new growth that is coming through. And this is about 2 weeks of growth. So I pruned some of my pepper plants about 2 weeks ago, just so I could show you an example of what they look like. So let's talk a little bit about why you would want to do this. I know that there are two reasons that I do it. The first reason is that if you don't prune your pepper plants, they're going to grow tall and they're still going to produce peppers and give you the harvest, a good harvest. But you're probably going to have to stake that pepper plant, because as it gets taller and it produces those peppers are going to be heavy. And so you want to make sure that it has the stability and the support that it needs. Now, when you top or prune your pepper plants, what that means is that it becomes more of a bushier plant and not so much a tall, thin plant. So you don't have to stake it. Now, the benefits of pruning it and getting that bushier plant are that all of these extra growth spurts that the plant has are going to produce peppers. So essentially what I've done by pruning or topping this pepper plant is I've just increased my harvest probably by more than double, because there are, if I were to count, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 new leaves or branches have grown on this plant in 2 weeks. That's 8 new places on this plant that are going to produce peppers. So let's get started. I have surrounded myself with all of my pepper plants. I probably have about 80 of them. I have pruned some of them so that I could show you, and I will show you more along the way as I find them throughout this bunch here. But let's prune a couple so you can see what I'm talking about. So let me see here. Okay, so this one is really good example. I'm just going to move these all over. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want to look for the leaves. Usually what I do is I leave 3 sets of leaves and then I trim anything above that. So if you look here, you're going to see that there are 2 sets here. There's another 2 set here, and then there's 2 sets here, which means that I can top it right here. Now it's going to be scary. You're going to think, Sherry, what the heck are you doing? But trust me. So I'm going to go in on an angle. Look how much I took. All right, let's keep going. So let's see here. Okay, I pruned this one already. And look at this piece here. this piece here is brand new. Now I will pinch off the flowers because I don't want them growing, but I pruned it to here, and all of this new growth is already well past it. It's crazy. Okay, I think a lot of the ones on this tray have already been done. Okay, here's another one. So again, I always count 3 sets of leaves. So 1, 2, 3. You ready? Okay, there it is, topped it off. I know it sounds crazy that I'm taking so much off, but trust me, I'm not planting these out in my garden for 6 more weeks at least. So in 2 weeks, all of that growth that I have in 6 weeks, these are gonna be so bushy that I might even want to do it again. All right, let's keep going. So 2, 4, and 6. And I go on an angle. Gone. Okay. Now, I just want to show you, let me see if I can find, okay. I'm hoping that you'll be able to see the differences in it. I mean, I can see the difference, but on camera, it's going to be a little bit sketch, I think. I want you to look at the actual stem of each plant to see the difference in thickness. Now, this one is growing nice and tall and thin, and this one here is more stocky because I pruned it. So all the energy that would have gone into growing more leaves and making a thinner, taller stem and going into the energy going to grow flowers are now going to grow a thicker stem to manage all of that extra harvest that you're going to get. So if you look, I wonder if I turn, if you can tell the difference in how thick this one over here is. Okay, let's prune this one. So again, we go 2, 4, 6, and gone. Okay. Let's see here. This one's a little bit smaller, but that's okay. I'm gonna go 2, 4, and I'm gonna go right here. Okay. Ooh, here's a nice big one. I like doing the big ones because it's more dramatic. So here's a nice big one. I want to show you the roots that are in here. So some of these ones that have a lot of roots like that, I may pot up or up pot them into a bigger container, but I can tell you that they were fine last year. They didn't get root bound, and even though there are a lot of roots in there, they'll probably be fine. So let's count. So 2, 4, and 6. Put it down so you can see. Like, if you went to the store and you bought pepper plants from big box stores or the garden centers even, they're probably as big as this little plant here that I just topped off of my pepper plants. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's another nice big one. Okay, we're gonna do 2, 4, and 6, and again, just like that. All right, let me see. I haven't done this one yet, so I go 2, 4, 6, and I'm gonna just do right there. Okay, I'm gonna show you a couple more just because it's fun. All right, we got 2, 4, and 6, and just like that. It's as easy as that. Now, I know it looks crazy and you're probably going to be scared because you've grown these plants from seed. You've put a lot of energy and time into growing them. And now I'm suggesting that you cut the tops off. But I promise you that your yield and your harvest are going to be so much bigger and better if you do this. Now, as I mentioned, I'm not planting these out for about 6 weeks. So my last frost date is May 7th, and today is April 21st. So I still have about 3-ish weeks before I hit that last frost date. But as you all know, you can't plant anything outside on your last frost date because give or take 10 days of fluctuating weather, you could still have a really bad frost on May 17th. So you really want to be careful. Now, in terms of pepper plants, these are tropical plants. And so I never plant these out until at least the first week of June. So I know that I have plenty of time for these plants to get over the stress of topping them off. And once I plant them outside, they are going to go crazy with growing and producing. So if you haven't tried pruning or topping your peppers, I suggest you give it a try. Take a look at how much I cut off. This was from about 60 pepper plants. So I have roughly 40 more here to cut. And I started to think as I was cutting the other ones off camera, I started to think that the one question that I think some of you are going to ask is, should you top or prune all pepper plants? And what I'm going to say to you is that I do. I top all of them, even the ones that are a little smaller, a little more delicate. I topped my shishito ones. So if you are worried about which ones you should or shouldn't top, what I'm going to say is that I top them all, and it has worked for me in the past. So if you're scared, then I suggest that maybe you only do some of them, but don't be scared. Let's do another one. So here we have, what one is this? Paprika. So I'm going to count again, 2, 4, 6, and see you later. Thanks for spending time with me.